On a crisp autumn morning in 2023, a procession of strangers marched up the steps of my sprawling estate at the edge of Willow Creek, a quiet suburb nestled in upstate New York. They moved with the eerie precision of a flock of birds returning to a long-abandoned nest, suitcases trailing behind them. Leading the charge was Evelyn Carter, her sharp eyes dissecting every inch of my property as if she already owned it. I stood rooted to the porch, heart pounding, caught off guard by their audacity. No phone call, no email, just their calm, possessive presence, as if my home was theirs for the taking. The air felt charged, like the tense hush before a thunderstorm. If they thought my silence was surrender, they were about to fly headfirst into a tempest. My name is Daniel Reed, 45, and for the past 6 years, I've lived a peaceful life in this grand house, tending to my lavender garden and savoring a tranquility I once thought impossible. Evelyn, the Homeowners Association president for the last 2 years, lived a few blocks away in a modest home with her husband, Thomas, and their 2 teenage kids. She was once a warm neighbor, always offering a quick smile during our evening strolls. But everything changed when I decided to overhaul my front yard. The renovation was a 3-month, $40,000 labor of Love Custom French limestone paths, a high-tech sprinkler system, and rare peonies flown in from a nursery in California. The crowning glory? A bed of vibrant purple lavender, my pride and joy. Apparently, this caught Evelyn's eye, hinting at wealth she hadn't noticed before. Her casual waves turned into curt nods, her smiles into calculating stares. A week after the project wrapped, I found a neon green citation slipped under my door, a $250 fine for non-compliant plant hues. I scoured the HOA handbook, nothing about lavender being forbidden. When I called Evelyn, her voice was glacial. "It's a new rule, Mr. Reed. We prioritize aesthetic harmony. Surely someone of your means understands." Her tone dripped with condescension, like I was a petulant kid. I pressed her, asking where this rule was documented. After a long pause, she snapped, "The board can enact standards as needed. Comply, or this gets messy." The line went dead, but Evelyn wasn't done. 2 days later, a $200 fine arrived, claiming I'd been disruptive at night. All I'd done was read under my porch light. When I confronted her at her doorstep, she stood in a tailored blazer, looking like she was about to chair a corporate meeting. "You seem awfully comfortable for someone who retired so young," she said, her eyes narrowing. "What exactly did you do, Daniel? Must have been quite the career." I sidestepped her probing, but I knew she was digging. What she didn't know was that I'd spent 18 years as a corporate investigator, exposing fraud and corruption in Fortune 500 companies. I was the guy you called when millions vanished into offshore accounts. Evelyn's next move was colder. She froze me out socially. She hosted neighborhood brunches and barbecues, forgetting to invite me. Whispers spread rumors that I was shady, maybe even dangerous. My neighbor Mrs. Lynn, who once gifted me homemade dumplings, now avoided eye contact. "Evelyn said you might be tied to something illegal," she mumbled when I asked what was wrong. The betrayal stung. Evelyn's campaign peaked at the next HOA meeting in the community hall, packed with 40 families. She strode to the podium in a crimson suit, every bit the prosecutor. "We have a resident whose wealth and secrecy threaten our safety," she declared, locking eyes with me. "Daniel Reed refuses to explain his fortune. We deserve transparency." The room buzzed with suspicion. She demanded I produce financial records to prove my money was clean, cutting me off when I tried to speak. "Silence speaks volumes," she sneered. The damage was done. Neighbors I'd known for years now saw me as a criminal. Then I overheard her in the parking lot, whispering into her phone, "Yes, it's Daniel Reed. Are you sure he's the one who took down Crestwood Enterprises? We need to neutralize him before he uncovers our operation." My stomach dropped. Crestwood was a case I'd cracked 4 years ago, exposing a $60 million embezzlement ring. Evelyn wasn't just a petty tyrant, she knew my past and was targeting me for it. Her final gambit came on a sunny Tuesday. She arrived at my door with her family in tow, Thomas, gaunt and jittery, lugging suitcases, and their kids, looking uneasy. Evelyn, in a sleek black suit, didn't wait for an invitation. "Daniel, we need to address an imbalance," she said, stepping onto my porch. "My family's cramped in a tiny house while you rattle around in this mansion alone. It's unfair." I was speechless as she continued. "Thomas works 3 jobs. Our kids share a room. You move into our placey, it's fine for one person and we'll take this house. Think of it as community equity." When I balked, her smile turned icy. "Certain details about your past could make life here uncomfortable. Let's avoid that." It was blackmail, plain and simple. But she'd underestimated me. That night, I dusted off my old investigative tools. Using secure databases from my consulting days, I dug into Evelyn's finances. Within 72 hours, I had her secrets. She was running a sham investment firm, Carter Wealth Advisors, conning 15 local families into safe investments that were really a Ponzi scheme. She used new investors' money to pay fake returns, pocketing millions. Worse, as HOA president, she'd accessed our financial records and sold them to data brokers and loan sharks. But I found an unlikely ally. Thomas, her husband. He cornered me by my mailbox at dawn, trembling. "Evelyn's not who she seems," he whispered, slipping me an address for a coffee shop in the next town. There, in a dimly lit booth, he spilled everything: documents, recordings of Evelyn's calls, proof of her fraud. "She'll frame me if I talk," he said, eyes darting. One recording was gold. Evelyn discussing the Reed problem with a man named Victor Kane, a criminal I'd helped bust years ago for laundering $70 million through fake property deals. She'd been planted in Willow Creek to destroy me. Just when I thought I had enough to go to the police, Thomas called, panicked. "Evelyn knows about our meeting. She's got photos, changed her passwords, moved the evidence." Then I learned I'd been betrayed again. My neighbor Clara Hayes, who'd posed as a friend, was Evelyn's spy, feeding her every move I made. Even my meeting with Thomas was a setup to gauge my skills. I was outmaneuvered, but I had one card left: surveillance gear from my old job. I set up legal cameras around Evelyn's house and her meeting spots, capturing a damning conversation with Victor himself. "Reed's closing in," he growled. "He cost me millions. If he stays, our money laundering operation here collapses." Evelyn admitted they'd chosen Willow Creek to clean Victor's cash through fake real estate deals. I contacted Rachel Lee, a federal prosecutor I'd worked with on the Crestwood case, now with the FBI. She was eager to nail Victor. I also looped in Agent Carter, who'd led the original bust. They promised protection if I delivered hard evidence. I proposed a special HOA meeting to clear the air with Evelyn. She took the bait, smugly agreeing, thinking she'd humiliate me. The meeting, held in the packed community hall, was live-streamed by a local reporter, Ethan Blake, who smelled a corruption scoop. Evelyn opened with a rehearsed takedown, accusing me of secrecy and danger. But I stole the stage, revealing her Ponzi scheme, naming defrauded families $20,000 from the Wongs, $30,000 from the Parkers. Gasps filled the room. I showed emails proving she sold our data, then played the recording of her and Victor plotting against me. The hall erupted. Evelyn screamed that it was fake, but Victor's voice sealed her fate. "Reed's the one who took me down. This is about revenge." As sirens wailed outside, FBI agents stormed in, cuffing Evelyn as she shrieked, "Victor will come for you, Daniel. You're just the start." Her mask shattered. She revealed Victor's nationwide revenge network targeting investigators like me. Neighbors apologized. Mrs. Lynn in tears. Evelyn got 10 years for fraud and laundering. Her family sold their home to pay $200,000 in restitution. Victor and 20 others were arrested in a nationwide sweep. I testified, my past now public. Willow Creek rewrote its HOA rules, electing me president with a 2-year cap. We turned a vacant lot into the Truth Garden, planted with lavender, a symbol of resilience. But the fight isn't over. Victor's network may still be out there, targeting others. Was Evelyn a mastermind or a pawn? Could someone like her be in your neighborhood, watching, waiting? How far would you go to protect your home, your truth? Share your thoughts below, and if this story gripped you, like and subscribe for more.